The next question is, will be expecting some sort of a new contract now or not long from now? We'll see how his agent and Diggs posture the possibility of getting a contract adjustment. He waited, I think, a year in Buffalo before getting a new contract there. Here's Brandon Beane from yesterday on this very important question of why now, because yesterday you and I were talking about, and I think we both agreed, if they were going to do something, it was going to happen after June 1. We're so close to June 1. Why not wait and have the cap charge for this year be a lot lower than it would have been? Here's Beane on why they did it now.
If you're going to move a player, there can be plenty of times it's not the first time we've been called to ask, would we move him, even prior to this year. I think with this move, as we're talking with, Houston in this case, the last couple of days was, the value seemed to make sense and the timing made sense, for them and for us. And we worked on the deal and got it finalized today. So I couldn't have told you a month ago we were definitively, open to moving Steph. But, we went through the discussions that I listed earlier, and we got what we thought was the right value and decided to pull the trigger.
See, that's guys saying publicly only the things he can say publicly. He can't be candid about what was going on.
Right.
You don't get the best possible deal if you lay the cards on the table. If you make it clear you're going to trade the guy, your leverage goes down. Because one key item of your leverage in trade talks is, screw it, we'll just keep him. And when you tell the world you're moving on from the guy, screw it, we'll just keep him, is out the window. And if you only have one suitor, and if you're giving the guy the power to pick his team and he only picks one team, it becomes very difficult to get maximum value in return.
Right.
And Chris, I think that the Texans wanted it now because they want him in the building for the offseason program.
100.
They want to get to work
Right.
on getting him
Right.
on the same page with C.J. Stroud, with the coaching staff, figuring out, diagnosing. Okay, and they're going to be diagnosing what it is about Stefon Diggs that has been a problem elsewhere, and we're going to fix it. We're going to diagnose it, and we're going to fix it. But we can't fix it unless we can diagnose it, and we can't diagnose it unless he's here. And the Bills surely would have loved to have waited until after June 1 at this point. It would have been $8.6-ish million this year, the rest next year. Look at everything they had to do to get themselves in line with the cap this year.
Right.
They don't want to take a $31 million dead money charge. And I've seen some argument, and I love Mike Sando. We get along well, and we had a little back and forth on Twitter last night. I didn't want to fight with him over it, but he said, well, you shouldn't imply that it's a massive cap charge of $31 million. Well, it is a massive cap charge of $31 million. It would have been 28 if he would have stayed. It's only $31 million if he's gone. Right. But if he stays, he's on your team. You get his services.
Yeah, you get the
for
play.
$28 million.
Right. You get 100
now
receptions.
He's gone.
Right. Yeah. Right.
For a bigger cap hit.
Yeah.
And yes, you've saved $18.5 million in trading him, but you don't have him. And unless you've decided he stinks now and you're doing the Bill Belichick, we're going to unload this guy because we're making the prediction that he's done, okay, then that makes sense, I guess. But you still would like to hold him until after June 1.
Yeah.
You'd still like to keep that cap charge at $8.6, $8.8 million this year, not $31 million. That is a huge cap hit to take for Stefon Diggs.
Definitely huge, right? I mean, you look on the list there. He's the highest paid dead salary cap non-quarterback in the history of football, right? I mean, the Bills don't want to be a part of that. Again, I think that just tells you how much they were ready to let's make it happen. And Mike, I'm glad you brought up the Houston Texans thing, right? Yeah, they want him there. They want to get to work and get it going. But I think that's also when Brandon Beane said timing, and that the timing is right. I looked at it from the other side a little bit, right? Buffalo, offseason program's about to start. They're going, we don't want him here. We don't want our players to talk about him anymore. We don't want to have to deal with it. They're about to check in a week from now. We got to make the move. Forget it. It's over. We don't want our team to deal with it. We don't want him in the building. Bum. Get it out of here. Right? So, again, it shows you they really were trying to make this happen. And it's rare. to see that kind of, we want to get rid of a guy that's, a caliber, this caliber of a player like we're talking about, who might not be a superstar, but he's still damn good, and he's still going to help out that Houston Texans a lot. And that's where it's certainly, kind of shocking, all of it.
Here's the problem the Bills now have beyond the cap charge,
right,
which is massive at $31 million for a guy not on the team, a non-quarterback,
yes,
not on
that's
the team
the point, right,
any longer.
Right,
$31 million when you already had cap issues that required a massive bloodletting of cap dollars earlier this year. It's an issue. The draft's 3 weeks from today.
Yeah.
The Bills might as well install a giant blinking red light
next to the one that says we don't want Diggs.
We're looking at a receiver.
Right.
Yes, we don't want Diggs. We're drafting a receiver. I mean, think about it. As the Bills' spot is creeping closer and closer 3 weeks from tonight, there will be an effort by teams who are currently behind them to say, well, you know what? This is probably the guy they're going to take. If we want him, we better get in front of them. And I won't be surprised, Chris, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I won't be surprised if they take that second-round pick next year,
right,
and package it to cut, while they're sitting there waiting and fearing that someone's going to cut the line in front of them, you jump up and cut the line in front of somebody else.
Yeah.
You go up and take that pick. If somebody behind you is thinking about getting 2 spots in front of you, we'll just get 2 spots in front of you. And that's a way that they may try to work Brandon Beane. Hey, we're talking to this team that they want to move up to, this spot. Do you want to move up to this spot? How about that second-round pick you got from the Texans for Diggs? And they may have to do it. If there's a guy they really want that they think walks through the door as potential number 1 receiver, and we've seen some of these first-year guys good enough to come through the door and figure it out right away.
Right.
If they have a guy like that and they really want to get him, they clearly need him.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, with you all the way there. I mean, that was the next phase of it, right? Like, unpack the trade, do all that. All right, wait, Buffalo, they still got to need a receiver here. What are they going to do? They're later in the round, right? Pick 28. There'll be, as we've talked about, it's a deep receiver class. There will be some guys there that you certainly are going to help your team. Now, how do you feel about them? Or is there, to me, there's a drop-off, right, after those top 4 guys. There's a drop-off. When you get out of, okay, Neighbors is the best, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brian Thomas Jr., right, the next group there, and Romeo and Dunze, after those 4, there is a separation. Right, and like people have that Brian Thomas Jr. You look at people who are in the know, the mock drafts, all that. They all have him going in the late teens, stuff like that. Is that a guy they look at now with that pick, like you're talking about? Going, wait, you can have this year's first round pick, maybe next year's second round pick, and some other pick. Can we get up to 17, 18, 20, whatever, right in that range, and make a move and get the guy they want? I think we're all going to be looking for Buffalo to do something like that when it comes draft night now.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.